What are some of the common kinds of challenges we have with listening to English? We have issues with slurring, with 元音. We call that slurring in English. We connect words together. We have issues with speed. We have issues with accent. One of the biggest issues, I think, is a combination of all of these three. As you're listening to a native speaker talk, they end up talking in incomplete sentences, or it's difficult to understand the logic in between the sentences, so it feels difficult to participate in a conversation. This is why the kind of practice we'll go over today focuses specifically on listening. There are 3 steps to the process. We open up with cold listening. We try to listen to something with no help at all, no kind of guidance. And then we move on to echoing. And so echoing is this process where we try to repeat after the video a few words at a time. And lastly, we arrive at shadowing, which is very similar to echoing. Both of these are strategies where you repeat after a video, but you're going to do it at different speeds with different goals. Now, when you start cold listening, the most important thing I am going to beg you, please do not turn on the subtitles or look at the transcript for your first listen. The goal of a cold listen is not to understand everything, because so often when we're having trouble listening, we're actually missing basic words we already know. We just don't know because of things like the 连音 or the accent or the speed. And that's why you want to practice a few times before you look at the transcript. Because that, actually, if you already know the word, you're going to be able to hear it. And maybe you won't the first time, but the second, third, fourth, you might start to get a little bit more. This is the step where you are training yourself the hardest. Your brain is working the hardest with the words it already knows in order to understand something new. So we're just going to listen to a minute from this video here. It's okay if you don't understand everything. Try to share some key ideas you heard.
Since I was a kid, my family they're really big on like camping and outdoor stays. So we tend to camp in the mountains or at the beach. And it's sort of a family tradition for us to go camping at least once a year. We go camping at this one spot. It's called Kuchel Bay. Kuchel Bay, Kuchel is an Afrikaans word, and it means like a ball, like a metal ball, like the ones you throw in shot put or anyway. So Kuchel Bay is a beautiful place. It's stunning. It's like you have the beach on the one side and you have this beautiful mountainous area on the other side. And it's really picturesque. It's stunning. And, it's the kind of place that, like, if I describe it to you, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have the most peaceful, tranquil, serene, like, getaway. If I go there, I'm just going to be able to relax and forget about the troubles in the city. And that was the mindset that we had at the time. I remember being quite young and going like, yay, we're getting away from like the hustle and bustle in the city. We're going to spend some time in nature, and it's so wonderful.
So when we are cold listening, we're just trying to get these key ideas, right? And then the next step, what is echoing? Our brains have this really interesting ability. When they hear a sound, no matter what sound, it automatically will play that sound back. This kind of technique was invented by Professor史嘉琳. The first thing we're going to do when we echo actually is we're going to look at the transcript, and you're going to make sure that you generally understand the meaning of the video. You don't have to memorize the new words. You don't have to try making sentences with them or anything. You just have to make sure that when you see them and when you hear them, you understand the meaning in that sentence. But while you practice, don't look at the transcript. If you can't understand a word, or if you think you missed the word, check the transcript. And then we're going to play the video just for a few words. You're going to wait for your echo, and then you repeat after the echo. You don't repeat after the audio, you repeat after the echo. When we wait to listen to the echo, that is forcing our brain to think more deeply and hear the content more deeply. That is the kind of quality listening practice we want to use. So first, I will demonstrate a little bit for the first sentence of this video. So this is our first sentence. So since I was a kid, my family they're really big on like camping and outdoor stays. The phrase, they're very big on these kinds of outdoor stays. If you say you're big on something, it's just a very, very colloquial way to say you really like something. I am really big about teaching English. I hope everyone here is big on learning English. So let me demonstrate.
Since I was a kid, my family...
Let's do the next few words.
They're really big on like camping and outdoor stays.
Exactly. That's the idea of it. And then lastly, shadowing. When we're echoing, we should echo to the point that we literally hate the content we're working with. You really have to become that familiar with it, because once you hate it, it's just coming out very naturally. So the idea is that you're going to want to, before you start echoing, review the transcript. But while you practice, don't look at the transcript. If you can't understand a word, or if you think you missed the word, check the transcript. Because if you're reading, you're not practicing listening. You're just practicing reading, which I'm sure you're all very good at. So once you practice to this point where you're so familiar with the video, then you can move on to shadowing. Shadowing is mostly more for your own speaking. This just helps you get more of a native intonation, accent, emphasis, pitch. As natives, when we are slurring, we have rules for what sounds we delete, what sounds we connect. We have tones too. Like if I go up, you know the sentence isn't done, and I'm going to keep going up until I go down. This is what we practice with shadowing. Shadowing will help you learn what are the rules. When, how, and where do natives change their sounds and delete sounds, add sounds, connect sounds. So I'll give a quick demonstration of what shadowing looks like. You can see the sentence right here. Since I was a kid, my family loved. They're really big on like camping and outdoor stays.
Since I was a kid, my family
they're
really big on camping and outdoor stays.
So that's the idea of shadowing. And of course, I can't emphasize this enough. Once you are doing it after you've echoed a lot, it will be a lot more smooth. So like I said, this is echoing. I did not invent it. A much, much smarter woman than me,史嘉琳, the professor at 台大, invented it. And we are offering her course as well. And she has a TED Talk where she explains it in very fluent Mandarin.